Okay, we were able to catch some AMAT today. We're going to go, of course, over our game plan and Forex trades, as well as the trader stress relief session, so we could come in with a fresh mind tomorrow. That, and of course, our full stock analysis. This is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Newsbeat Show. I'm Mark Melnick, and I'll be taking you through it today. I just gave a class, and I humbly hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys are enjoying the market. And just want to go over some of the things that we are discussing here today. And of course, we're going to talk about the AMAT trade. So, yesterday I was like 10 out of 10 AMAT. Take calls and buy puts in AMAT. And I ended up making 125%. There was somebody in the room who actually made over 200% of their money. But I just want to show what happened with this AMAT trade. So if you wish to revisit it, you could literally watch the Newsbeat show from yesterday. It was Newsbeat show number 18. This is number 19. And what I basically said is if you could buy calls and puts $1 apart for $1.40 in the first half hour of the morning, $1.40 or less, it's a very good risk reward. So basically, I was able to get in at 95 cents. As I called out in real time in the room, there was somebody else who bought my same spread for like 81 cents in the room. So somebody actually literally got a better price than me right after I bought it. There are people who got worse prices than me, better prices than me. But the bottom line is this is what AMAT did, and it ended up working beautifully. So AMAT literally was very wild early on. You had this crazy 5 minute bar where it shot up, popped down, shot up, popped down. I got filled and I was in my puts and calls, and the stock pretty much started falling here down to the 50 70s levels. Literally right here in real time I got rid of all my puts. So I got rid of half of the straddle because I had the 51 and a half puts and I had the 52 and a half calls. So when the stock actually plummeted here to the 50 70s, my 51 and a half puts were trading dollar 10, dollar 20. They were actually going up. I didn't get a dollar 20. I actually got a dollar 3, a dollar 5. I think were my two best prices on the AMAT puts. But I paid 95 cents for the total spread. So already I'm up over about 15% of my money, and I have free calls, and my calls are still, my calls are beaten up. My calls are down to like 15 cents. They're completely beaten up, and I'm holding the calls as a free lottery ticket. So I made money on one side of the trade, and I decided to hold the calls. And then the stock exploded through the ceiling, and my calls literally went up about 10 times in value from there. So, literally, I ended up selling my calls for money and my puts for money on this AMAT trade. There are some people who just held both sides of the trade. You're still up money. If you micromanaged it perfectly like I did, I will tell you this. Somebody was asking me, Mark, how did you know to sell the puts there? That was incredible. How did you do it? And the truth is, I'm not going to tell you anything stupid or magical or whatever. That was luck. I was up money on the put side. I was happy. I was like, I could take this trade off now. I threw about $20,000 at it. I'm up a few grand if I just sell my puts here and my calls expire worthless. I'll be up a few grand, and I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with that. That's an okay trade for me. I don't mind making a few grand on a silly little call and put trade on AMAT. And then I ended up holding the calls. But what happened was I literally watched my calls shoot through the ceiling. Shoot all the way back up through the ceiling. So I ended up making a little over 20 grand in this trade. I wish I was still holding the calls. I'd probably make closer to 30. And it ended up just being magical. And people were asking me, how did you know to sell the puts and hold the calls? Well, here's the thing. I sold the puts because I paid 95 cents for the whole thing. Let me break it down for you in a very simple mathematical fashion. If you don't understand options, it's fine. The truth is, Neither do I to some extent. So here's AMAT, 52 and a half calls and 51 and a half puts. Weekly options expiration. So they're expiring tomorrow. So I paid a total of 95 cents. Paid a total of 95 cents. So what happened here is after, and I had a couple hundred of each. So so a little over a couple hundred, like 215, whatever. Not the point. So look at AMAT. So it ends up plummeting here, right? It ended up plummeting here to 50.72. At that point, when it plummeted to 50.72, it plummeted to, let's just call it 50.75 for number's sakes. When it plummeted to 50.75, my 52 and a half calls were equal to 15 cents because the stock went down, the calls got beaten up. But the 51 and a half puts were equal, and I got a little more, but let's round it off to $1. So right there at that point, when AMAT plummeted to 50.75, the total of my position, the total value of that position at that one given moment was $1.15. So I'm already up 20 cents. Doesn't sound like a lot, but 20 cents on a couple hundred contracts, you're up $4,000, right? So what I did was I peeled off at this point, and you can rewatch this video if you need me to scroll up. Peeled off the puts at about $1.05, whatever. Let's call it $1. Peeled off the puts, and now I'm up money and have free calls. You see that? Because I sold this part of the trade, held this, sold this, I'm already up money. Because if I sell the puts for more than 95 cents, the whole trade is valuable now, right? So I could have thrown away the calls at that point. They were still worth a few grand to me. I still had a couple hundred of them. I could have thrown them away. That would have been a great move, right? It would have. I don't think that was a bad move. So the reason when people were asking me how I timed it was it just coincidentally happened that when the stock was at the day low, that my position just went positive for the day. So I took off the puts and I said, you know what? I'm just going to hold these calls as a lotto ticket. I was expecting them to do nothing. I didn't care. But magically, they did do something. They started climbing up all day. And then what happened was they were over $1.50 at the end of the day. So then what happens is, and I didn't sell any at $1.50, by the way, but I'm just showing where they were just potential-wise. 52 and a half calls are now equal to $1.50. They went up 10 times in value. And I don't own the puts anymore, which obviously lost a lot of value. So then I was basically selling my calls at an average price. I sold some early, and then I sold some later. I was selling some in the 70s, and then $1, and then in the $1.20 range. Let's just say I sold them for approximately $1. So I sold them for $1. I didn't get the full value. So in the end, I sold basically the 51 and a half puts for $1, and I sold the 52 and a half calls for about $1. So the total of my sell was $2. Total of what I paid was still 95 cents. And off this trade alone, we had over a dozen people sign up for the room as of tonight because of this trade. Because it's trades like this where I'm coming out basically yesterday. If you watched the Newsbeat Show yesterday, I literally said I want to buy the 52 and a half calls. I want to buy the 51 and a half puts. They're $1 apart, and I want to pay $1.40 or less. Literally, I doubled my money on this trade. A little more. But I doubled my money pretty much on this trade. And it's trades like this and conviction like this when I come out and I'm like, guys, this is a 10 out of 10 conviction trade for me. And somebody asked me in the room today, he was like, why did you say it was a 10 out of 10 conviction trade? And I basically answered, because I make money almost I don't remember really losing money with this strategy, but I pretty much make money almost every single time. Pretty much to the point where when I lose money, it doesn't even take away. If I lost money on this trade 5 times, if I made money on it once, it would make up for that and more. And even when I lose money on this trade, it's because I played it bad and I should have made money on this trade. And I make money on this trade literally over 95% of the time. That's why it was a 10 out of 10 conviction trade for me. So I just want to show you how that panned out. Very well is the answer. I know some of you guys are still holding some of those AMAC calls. I hope you get that beautiful gap up in which you're looking for tomorrow. And I just wanted to sort of take you guys through that trade because it was just a real monstrous move. All right. Whoops. Okay. Very simple game plan. ATRS. Very simple game plan here on ATRS. I'm basically looking for a bullish trigger through 237. I'm basically looking for a follow through. This is one of the names in which we bought. We're already long already. I bought in at 230. Pretty much, if you're part of my Newsbeat Live or my Twitter service, you would have gotten this name prior to the closing bell. However, I'm still watching it tomorrow for follow through, and that's why I'm giving it here tonight. So just a very simple name here, ATRS, small name. I do this for people who have very small accounts and are looking for major movements. I'll tell you one thing. I believe we could potentially get an explosive move if we're able to get to 245 tomorrow, because we get inside that major gap fill here going all the way back to October last year. Check that out. And to break into the gap, we just need to break 245. So definitely keeping that one on our radar. We have Friday tomorrow. We're basically dealing with bathroom rules are back in effect. And that basically means for the first hour and a half, you can't leave to the bathroom. The truth is we've been getting really good information later in the day, to be honest. We've been getting really good info later in the day. So the truth is there might never be a good time to use the bathroom, but I don't expect people to really sit in their desks in front of the computer that long. But we're getting really good stuff and really good breaking news flow and things like that. So I highly suggest you try to be in front of your computer as often as possible. And I'm going to try to do obviously the same tomorrow. So just wanted to give you a little heads up on that. I don't have my Forex trades ready. I have to do them now because I was doing a class from 4:30 basically to 7:30. So I only have my game plan, but I don't have the Forex, unfortunately. I'll make sure that after this Newsbeat show, that I get into the Forex and send out the email to you guys in the room. Sorry about that today, that I don't have that all prepped for you. But of course, now we're going to go into our trader relief session, where we're basically going to talk about, motivational things that are going to help you relieve the stress that you will that you accumulate through the day. So this was a funny thing I did back when I was living in Florida, and I was living in Orlando, which is near the University of Central Florida. And basically, here's your daily lift me upper. It's basically stress relief. Basically, I was doing, trader session talking about the markets, or a lot of kids there, a lot of college kids there who are potentially interested in pursuing a career in trading, and UCF wanted me to come be a speaker for them, just to give us, a speech to the kids. So there's tremendously sized audience there, and it was packed. And here's one of the things I did. So I literally went inside my pocket and I pulled out a $20 bill, and I went into the crowds of, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 kids at the UCF audience, and I basically said, who would like this $20 bill? So everyone starts looking at each other like, is this a joke? And I'm like, really? Who would like this $20 bill? Raise your hand right now if you want this $20 bill for free. I'll give it to you. But it's not free, but I'll give it to you. How's that? Everybody's laughing because everybody thinks this is a joke. Everybody raises their hands. And then what I did was I took the $20 bill and I said, okay, I'm going to give it to you, but first let me crumple it up. I crumpled the $20 bill into a ball. And then I asked, okay, who still wants it? And everybody's laughing because they're waiting for some punchline or something like that. And they have no idea what I'm thinking. So they're still raising their hands. And when I asked who wants it, and then I said, well, what if I do this? And I took the $20 bill, I put it on the floor, and on stage, looking like a complete fool and buffoon of myself, I start stomping it as if I'm like putting out a fire. Remember that joke that people used to do? If they didn't do it in your neighborhood, they did it in my neighborhood in Brooklyn. They would like poop in a brown paper bag and they would put it in front of someone's door and light it on fire. They would ring the doorbell and run away, and then they would watch from afar, and the person would see like fire on their doorsteps, and they would stomp it out, and then they would get stuff on the bottom of their shoe or sneaker or God forbid foot. And I never did that, by the way, but I saw someone else do that. So I basically am stomping out this $20 bill in the same fashion like that, and I'm stomping, I'm grinding my heel into it, and then I picked it up, and it's this like little paper mess, and I said the bill was completely crumpled, the floor was dirty, was crumpled and dirty, and I said, okay, who still wants this $20 bill? So everybody is laughing at this point because they think I'm just absolutely hilarious, and all the hands went up. Then I said, you know what, I'll tell you what, I just showed you a very important lesson. No matter what I did to the money, you still wanted it because it did not decrease in value. It was still worth $20. And many times in our trading lives and real lives, life crumples us up, grinds us down, grinds us into the dirt, beats us up. We make bad decisions or we're dealing with poor circumstances and we feel worthless. But no matter what has happened to you or what will happen to you, you're never going to lose your value as a trader as long as you want to continue learning. You are special, you are unique, and you have the ability to conquer this market. The question isn't if, it's when. And you're going to have to put some work into it. And you're going to have to be involved in a very strong community around you that helps support that. I hope the Newsbeat Live is obviously one of those communities, which is why this community exists in the first place. But I want to make sure that you never, ever, ever forget that. And with that being said, we're gonna of course go into our full stock analysis where I break down names that you guys are watching. I show you where I would want to buy them or I would want to sell them. I give you my complete thoughts and analysis on it for for any stock that you're watching and every stock that you're watching. But of course, that is for Newsbeat Live members only. With the Newsbeat Live service, you get not only access to the Newsbeat Live room, but you get access to have me break down all the stocks that you're watching. Not only that, you get access to the Newsbeat Nightly, which is actually that comes after this. And you get access to that and a lot more. You get access to our room, live trades. You get my overnight ideas. You get so much more with the Newsbeat Live service. You could choose one of those things. You could choose some of those things. You could choose all of those things. And of course, that is again for members only. We are the fastest growing trading room in the nation. I hope you guys enjoyed the Newsbeat Show. Happy trading, make money. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning on the Newsbeat Live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.